Welcome to the Whole Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you become a fat burner, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey everybody, it's Debbie Potts, your host of the Whole Athlete Podcast, and this is my Thursday edition of my show that I just talked to you just about my thoughts of what's going on in the low-carb keto world for athletes and more. So today's episode of what I call Real Thoughts with Debbie Potts is how you can lose fat weight on a cruise. As I just got back last night from 8 days on the Low-Carb Keto Cruise with Jimmy Moore and Christine, his wife, and Debbie Hubbs and Elise put on. This is the 12th annual Low-Carb Cruise. And I would recommend going next year. It will be 2020. It will be middle of May. Why should you go on this cruise? Well, for one, I think a lot of people think the entire cruise is a low-carb keto group. It is not. There's about 5,000 people on this boat. It's Royal Caribbean, humongous 13-floor cruise ship. And we were about 155 people. And I was going to count how many speakers, but there's about 15 speakers talking about low carb, high fat, keto with regards to improving your ability to burn fat, optimize your health, and improve your performance. So different topics were, can you be fit and unhealthy? Stephanie Holbrook did. We had lots of talks on carnivore diet and keto for health and chronic diseases, and a lot on bioindividuality, which I'm always talking about on the show, as well as digestion and gut health. So what I've learned over the years with nutritional therapy and my different courses I've taken over the years, it's about being fat adapted. So you can burn fat for your main fuel source. Your main tank for fuel should be fat, not carbohydrates. So to get off the blood sugar roller coaster, we need to be basically eating fat to burn fat. And if you're eating a high carbohydrate diet, as we were raised to think that was healthy and optimized our health, is the wrong way of thinking. It's the old way and incorrect way that we were taught wrong, basically, because we were learning from people that had political benefits in there. So we call it political nutrition. So anyways, the cruise, Low Carb Cruise, is a great way to learn more. But what I really loved about this past week is the family, the tribe that we have built up, the low carb keto world. All these different people from around the world come together, that they understand what the challenges are out there. And there's a lot of people that have lost hundreds of pounds and have these amazing stories. And there's people that are just trying to get healthy and make their way into a lower carb, high fat diet because they've learned how it can reduce inflammation in your body. It can reduce the amount of medications you're on, insulin resistance. It's not just about fat loss, which sub note here that the goal to have weight loss, Dr. Barry pointed out, we should be striving for fat loss, not weight loss. So eating a diet that helps you become fat adapted is lowering your carbohydrates, and it's very bio-individual how many carbohydrates your body needs so you can be burning fat. And if you need to be in nutritional ketosis, which a lot of people do for health benefits that have maybe Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, cancer, there's a lot of health benefits for that, different diseases that really benefit from being in nutritional ketosis. Other people may just benefit from being fat adapted and go benefits of carnivore diet. I was just listening to a podcast Ben Greenfield did and trying to listen to some others. But what we're going to talk about in a future episode is what if you get that, you know your body needs all those nutrients you get from good sourced animal products and the head to tail products, but what if that makes you disgusted and you don't like meat and you need to get over your phobia of having cute animal products? So I want to get into that with Danny. Another topic we went into on the cruise is body image. Lauren, the Keto Lauren, talked a lot about that. As some girls, the Keto Evangelist coaches, they got into a topic we're going to have them each on the show as well here for my Tuesday episode, that you need to sometimes be really serious about keto because you're an overeater, a binger, and carbohydrates obviously make us overeat because they don't fill us up and make us satiated. So dealing with those issues and the root cause, I think, is a really important topic to go into, especially on here. We target more the endurance athlete, and endurance athletes, I find, we're all running to something or running from something. And how many people are out exercising a bad diet? And why is that? Why do we train more? What are we dealing with? Is it a healthy reason, or is it something we're just, stuffing our feelings and we're not really getting to what is the real reason? So I think body image and overeating and secret eating too, being a closet eater and being afraid to eat in front of people and exercising to out exercise those calories you took in is a big topic. But also the body image part, that we work out to be in shape and feel good, but also to look good. And what if, we're depending too much on that exercise, that physique, that look to make us increase our self-esteem? And that, I think people put us on a pedestal if you look a certain way and you eat in a certain way. But if you don't do that, I think that's connected to body dysmorphia and overeating or closet eating, because you're known as this pristine athlete and eating always so healthy and following a clean diet, eating real food, that if you eat something bad for you, you feel like you have to hide in your car or in the closet and eat it. So anyways, I'm off topic of how you can lose weight on a cruise, but I just wanted to start the conversation about what we discussed on the low-carb keto cruise last week. So definitely, I'd love for you to join me next year. I'm also organizing. Next April 5th is Lava Man Triathlon Olympic distance, and I'm going to do a training group for that starting in January. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, we'll be doing a group coaching plan, but if you want individual coaching for more advanced, you can contact me as well. But April 5th, start marking that date off next year of a calendar and booking your flights and condos. It's in Waikoloa, and there's great amount of Airbnb condos over there as well as hotels, but I love a condo so I can have a kitchen and washing and machine and dryer. So check that off your list for next year, or block it off and join us. And then middle May, I think it's May 17th, is the 13th annual Low-Carb Keto Cruise. And fortunately, we start the cruise down in Florida instead of New Jersey, because that was a wasted few days commuting down to Florida. Then we finally had is a weird itinerary. So I would love to just stay in the Caribbean and go to the different islands and then have a conference every other day. But this year we started in New Jersey. So when we're at sea, we have conference sessions 8:15 to about 4:30, and then we have our dinner, seated dinner at 5:30 p.m. So the days were busy. So that's a good transition into how you can lose fat weight. I hate to say weight, so we're going to start saying fat loss program on a cruise ship, because everyone laughed at me when I was saying I'm going a low carb conference on a cruise, which is obviously opposite of each other. So here are my tips how to lose weight on a cruise. So I found it easy. because when you're at home, you have food around you unless you don't go shopping. And even if it's good food, as I'm at home today, it's easier to eat when you're not hungry because you walk through the kitchen or you have a meal because your family is. And a lot of times I'm not hungry. So during the work days, I can be busy at work and not eat until afternoon. Then I'm full for the rest of the day. So I end up having one meal a day, and it's easy for me to do intermittent fasting. And one day a week, because my schedule's a little busier that day, I do a 24-hour fast. But on a cruise, it is easy to do intermittent fasting. It's easy to do fasted workouts and to keep active and not overeat. So here's my strategy, my tips, and my tricks. So I would wake up in our little tiny room, shared room with Stephanie Holbrook. Next year, we're definitely getting a balcony. That was a good thing and bad thing being on the second floor because the stairs to the gym were right by us, and we could go up to the 12th floor to the gym, as well as that lunch place, Windjammer buffet cafe we ate at for lunch was up on the top floor. So I refused to take the elevator. So tip number 1, don't take the elevator, take the stairs. So we got multiple flights of stairs climbing up and down. I would wake up in the morning. I'd ideally sleep in and wake up when I want to wake up, but this was kind of a work trip for me more than a vacation. So it was a little different than the people that are the clients, participants at the conference versus me. I was a speaker. I had room service for our coffee to be delivered at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. because the conferences when we're at sea started about 8:15. I spoke 2 times, and the day I spoke, it was 8:15 on a Sunday, and I found had to worry more. So getting up early helped kind of get organized and get set for the day. So fasted morning workouts is what I did next. So I had my little bit of coffee, just enjoy the morning and just kind of gradually wake up, have my water. And side note there, tap water, it's not filtered water unless you bought bottled water up at the bars, but I found that I brought a charcoal stick that I keep in my travel bag. So I just kind of have this little bag I always take in my suitcase, but I think it helped a little bit. And then I have mineral drops or some real salt for electrolytes in the water. Or we met up with the founders of Keto Chow, and they have this really great electrolyte drops that you can put in your water, and they have magnesium drops. So those are really essential if you're a low carb, higher fat person, and especially traveling and we're not drinking enough water when we're on a boat and there's not the same amount of water I would consume if I was at work at my fitness studio all day. So hydration and coffee. I take the stairs and go up to the gym first thing in the morning. Now, I like to get outside and get daylight exposure to start my day. So I was going up to the top floor where the gym is, and then the floor above that is this outdoor mini track. But it was just so refreshing to me, especially when you're at sea, to be in that daylight with the sunshine, with the ocean. It's really powerful. So I just do a few laps around there, walk around, get that nice fresh air, and just kind of wake up and start the day feeling alive and thriving. Then I'd go to the gym, and typically, because we had a schedule, because it was work and it was a conference, I did, which I normally do, a 30, 45-minute workout. And because I wasn't able to really go out for a bike ride, obviously, this last week, or for a longer run, though I did fit a long run in the heat of Miami one day. But I had to get the most out of that 30, 45-minute workout, which this is how I train my clients because they don't do any other exercise the rest of the time besides when they see me. So I would do lifting weights, and I like to lift heavier and more functional strength that I get my leg and my arms and my core all involved, doing a lot of stuff on the cable machines, doing free weights, and then adding in some mobility drills and some cardio. So I typically take, say, 2 or 3 exercises, repeat those 3 times, and then hop on the treadmill, and I'd run 2 to 3 minutes, try to get my heart rate up. And I always wear a heart rate monitor for training. Really keeps me motivated. So I use the MyZone monitor. And then I would go back and do weight circuit again, maybe focus on more total body with a little more emphasis on my back. And then sometimes I would just do all core and mobility, twisting, chopping, and different med ball exercises and pullovers. And then maybe I'll do more chest and legs. And so if you add something that's more total body that you're getting, say your chest and arms, or if you're getting your legs and doing a push-pull, you can get your heart rate up a little bit more as well, so you can stay in that aerobic range while you're doing your strength training. So that was my morning start to the day, and I found that fasted was easy and just had more water, and maybe I had another coffee after that, probably too much coffee this last week. But when we were at sea, we were, as I said, in a conference session, so we didn't have a lunch break until 12:30, 12:45. So say I didn't get lunch a lot of days until 1 o'clock. So that was the first time that I ate that day. So I skipped breakfast because I'd rather not eat breakfast and get my workout in. And I'm not actually hungry. It's amazing once you become fat adapted, you do not need to eat 3 meals a day and snacks. So I would take the stairs again to go up to the deck to get fresh air. 4th floor, I could walk around as well, and then get the coffee. And then we're down in the conference room most days when we're at sea. So that was how I could be more fat burning, being fasted, and then not eat until 1 o'clock. So then my other step or trick to burning fat weight is having some green tea. So I'd get some herbal tea or some green tea and sip on that during the morning. Have some coffee. I hate Starbucks. Sorry, Starbucks. They're in Seattle and that's where I am. But I like small coffee roasters, but that's all they had on the boat was Starbucks coffee. So I had that with some heavy cream. And then I took the stairs again up to lunchtime when we ate lunch at 1. Now that is a longer conversation how to deal with a buffet for lunch, because I know a lot of people can overeat, and it's pretty huge buffet, and there's, let's see, like 3 different sections with kind of the same food, but there's a dessert bar and everything looks good for a lot of people. But the hard thing is nothing's really good quality food. So there's nothing organic, grass-fed meat or free range and wild caught fish. So everything's a little more toxic. So I'm going to do a fast this week and do my liver detox tea and bone broth fast. But back to the food choices. So to keep your body being fat burning, it was easier because we were all on this low-carb keto cruise. There's a lot of people doing carnivore, which is going to be a future topic here on the show with Danny Vega and some of the other speakers are into carnivore. So I tried to eat more meat because I'm not a meat eater. I can do chicken or turkey, and that was getting kind of boring. But vegetables, and then adding some olive oil in there. They had butter, but it was probably not grass-fed butter. And fill up on protein. That's why I find the carnivore, if I could wrap my head around it, makes sense to me, because if I have vegetables, I really don't feel full. I feel like, oh, I just ate all that and I don't feel stuffed. But if I have mostly protein and fat, I have no cravings. I'm full and satisfied for hours. So something to think about for your body, because of course we're all different. So lunchtime, I typically fill my plate up with whatever meat, protein I could get. There's some cheeses on a panini bar that I get some different sliced cheese. There was a taco bar, so I get some of their sour cream and guacamole, which wasn't, again, the best quality, probably because it's a cruise ship. But I did what I could do and, had the fat and the protein and vegetables. But funny, I started having this huge plate of salad at the beginning of the week, but after listening to all these carnivores, my body even told me too, I don't really want that anymore. So at the end of the week, my plate was mostly protein and fat, and my vegetables were getting smaller and smaller, and actually left them on the plate. It was interesting how, if you listen to your body what it wants, it's just so curious how it's like, how's that work? But my body didn't need those vegetables. So that was another way to how to tackle the buffet bar. And Stephanie and I did a video on how you can do this as well. I didn't want to take pictures of people. I just found that intrusive or offensive to bring my camera and take pictures of the food bar, but I'm sure other people did. I just can't do that. So moving more during the day is my next tip. So even if you were at the conference or come to the conference next year with me, I find it's hard. I always have to get up and move. I don't like sitting, especially in a dark room. So every time we had a break, I'd run upstairs and go to the 4th floor and stand outside or walk around a little bit because I need that fresh air and that daylight exposure, or else I kind of feel claustrophobic and headache, kind of sick feeling. So moving during the day was a good tip. And then dinner was a scheduled seated dinner that I dressed up. If you look at my Facebook page, I shared my pictures because I never get to dress up. So I feel silly sharing pictures of myself because I'm not like that, and I'm not good at selfies, and I don't like that kind of stuff. But obviously I want to show that I have dresses that sit in my closet, and I got to dress up every night. So that was really fun for me because I wear workout clothes every day. Sitting down was my tip on how you can lose weight. Sitting down, focusing, relaxing, taking your time is a good way to get your body in the parasympathetic nervous system we always talk about, PNS. Sympathetic nervous system, SNS, that is our fight or flight that we're usually too stuck in too many hours of the day. It's supposed to be on, off, switch back and forth between the two. So sitting down and taking a nice leisurely dinner, because we're on a cruise ship, we're not busy at home where I'm probably eat and then move on with whatever I'm supposed to do really fast, like 30 minutes. Instead, we were at the table talking for an hour to 2 hours every night because we had nowhere else to go. So we just take our time. So the menu for sitting down in the restaurant, we had choices in which you can order as much as you want. So good or bad, but it was nice. You can choose what you want, and so I'd switch things around. So we had appetizer and then an entree and dessert every night. And some things were the same, the meats and the different things that I would switch around a couple of items. So that was a helpful way to lose weight, fat weight, because of being parasympathetic. So I shift into the rest and digest. So my digestive processes should be working at optimal level. Once I'm sitting and relaxing and start those digestive enzymes, starting the saliva, and then eating slower, not rushing, will help the chewing, will help my digestion. And then what I ate was, I'm not the carnivore person, so I didn't eat the escargots like they did, or they had pate or some different things. But I typically had the shrimp, which aren't the best source because they're toxins in seafood. Well, toxins and everything, so it's always a tough one. But there's a little tiny Caesar salad that has had the shrimp on there. And so there's different protein sources and vegetables for appetizer if you want one. I had an onion soup one night, which I took out the bread because I try not to avoid the bread. And then the entree was always meat and a vegetable. And I put some butter, olive oil, some sea salt on my vegetables and meat. I tried to do fish when it was a good fish. They like to use tilapia, which I hate tilapia. But, I found some options. And then the other carnivores at my table, they just would only eat the meat. And they said no sides, no vegetables. And then they often ordered another round of the duck or the steak or the roast beef. And, everyone had 2 or 3 pieces of meat. So definitely the carnivores are getting popular in the low-carb keto world. So they're really going low carbohydrates, which we'll talk about in a different episode. But when you're a carnivore, you're not doing any plant foods. You're just doing animal foods. So they're getting their protein and their fats because they're eating the meatier types of animal products, animal meats, and the head to tail. But you really need to be careful, I think, of the toxins. So you're not doing factory farmed raised animals, which is all you're going to get on a cruise ship. So I really think everyone should be doing a liver detox this week after all those toxins we probably inhaled and consumed in our food and the environment. So dessert, they had different desserts. They did make us a keto cheesecake one night, but I'm super sensitive even to those sugar substitutes, and I got a headache in a few seconds, so I know there's something in there. But there's also a cheese plate that I just had some of the cheese pieces and a couple of grapes and some walnuts. So those are some of my tips. Alcohol, I didn't get the alcohol. There's a lot of people that drink soda, which surprises me because all the chemicals in soda. But I would just do club soda and lemon. And then if I had a few nights, I did do a cocktail. I can't do wine because it gives me a headache because of the sugar in it. But sometimes a red wine with a good meal, I sometimes do. But this last week, I just have my own cocktail and then make it a mocktail. So having a vodka soda with some muddled mint is one of my favorites. And then I just keep ordering club soda or Pellegrino sparkling water and refill that cocktail glass with sparkling water. So you feel like you're still drinking, but it tastes good with that muddled mint if they have it. If anyone makes mojitos at a restaurant, you know they have muddled mint. And then adding cucumber slices is another good trick. And of course, everyone has lemon and lime. So that was what I did for drinking. But having that mineral water, club sodas, I enjoy. Something sparkly. And after dinner, we'd go for a walk and having 1 or 2 laps on the top deck would require us to climb more stairs. So we'd go up to the very top floor, 13th floor, do a few laps outside, or the 4th floor is that goes around the whole ship and you go in the front of the ship and get some fresh air and watch the sunset. So I really love doing that. So more exercise, more mobility, help digestion after you eat. And then we'd walk around and go to a show where the presenters were all working as well. So we'd go sit on our computer some nights or have a little chat session in one of the rooms. Or some nights I tried to go to some of the shows, or there's even an ice rink there. They had this ice capades kind of thing. I went for half of it. And there's always movies out on the deck. So you can do lots of activities and you can walk around. I like being outside as much as possible. So I only would go to some of those things for a little bit. But that's how I think you can lose weight. You don't have to eat all the crappy stuff. There's food that's available in this one shop that was pizza and it didn't even look good. So it wasn't tempting to me. I know some people would go get the pizza and just eat the toppings and not eat the crust. There was sandwich stuff there you could get too. So it wasn't like there's food available all day long. And I think it's helpful if you don't have any food in your room. You can order room service, but if you want to not gain weight on a cruise, these are the tips to do that. It's possible. So you're being more active, you're more relaxed, so you're not in that sympathetic nervous system that's going to shut off digestion, shut off that ability to burn fat that I'm talking about in my presentations. So lastly, I think I was going to add into when we're at port, that's if you're an athlete, it's hard, I didn't rent a bike, but you could do those little bike things. We were in Miami one day, Port Carnival one day, then Miami, and then we were at this most amazing, perfect day, they call it, at Coco Beach, their private island that they have for Royal Caribbean, and we were there all day long. So that was my water day and got way too much sun. The first 2 ports that we're in, Port Carnival, went for a trail run there. So we found a trail park that was very muggy and buggy. I got 10 of mosquito bites and I killed about 1,000 gnat little bugs on my face and arms. But it was a fun adventure run. We did that in the afternoon when we got to port that last Sunday at noon. And then Miami, we're there a full day. So we took an Uber into South Beach and ran around the boardwalk. So I did out 45 minutes and back. And so I did 1.5 hours. But the problem is it's 95 degrees and I was a little overheated, didn't have enough water. And so I did get my run in and got outside and got to see different areas of Miami. And then the beach day, I knew it was a little hard to run because it was just a little island, but we just played in the water and swam and did walking breaks. So I think if you are going to a beach or something, you just get up and move every hour, jump in the water, do some swimming, playing, and just not sit all day. So that's how I think you can be able to lose fat weight on a cruise. And especially if you come with us next May 2020 for the Low-Carb Keto Cruise. And you have these seminars in between, and then we'll be at different ports next year. But It's easier to be with a tribe, the low carb tribe, and our new family that we created after being together for a week, have that support and still, enjoy the food, enjoy the experience and the memories we're building with these new friends from around the world. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. If you want to lose fat weight, what I'm talking about in the seminar last week, and then what I'm talking about on some future conferences, is how you cannot burn fat if you're not dealing with improving the whole you with the elements that I call the holistic method. So remember, the holistic method is WHOLE, holistic, and it's working on improving your ability to burn fat, optimize your health starting with the mitochondria, and improving your performance in daily life, which to me that means longevity and also performance in your sport. So if you're training for any races this year or maybe some events that require good endurance engine, we need to really take care of the whole person, the whole athlete. So how you are training is really important. Even if you're not training for an event, those people that I keep talking to, especially last week, that have lost a lot of fat weight, but they've hit a wall and they're not able to really stay on track, or they're not able to continue that weight loss or that fat loss. I'm going to keep correcting myself because of chronic stress, chronic busyness. So you can pick up the slides from my presentation last week. I made them too long, so I took just 20, 30 slides and used those for my presentation, but I put this whole collection of slides from 2 different things and made them into an ebook. So if you head to my website, debbiepotts.net, you can download for free my ebook on how chronic stress impacts the whole you, including your ability to burn fat. So think about that this week. You can read it. Let me know what you think. Also, I will be starting my 5-day Jumpstart Fat Loss Challenge this week, and I'll be offering it each month, and then it will transition into phase 2, which is 21 day, and phase 3 is maintenance. So it's a 30-day program, but you're welcome to just sign up for the 5-day Jumpstart. It is $97. It's all online. If you want to do the full 30-day group challenge, it is $597, and that includes daily coaching, and then we'll have some group calls during the week on Zoom, so video calls if you'd like, and just have daily support and guidance how you can switch from a sugar burner and a carb if you eat too many carbs, and then we'll transition into being a fat burning machine by flipping the switch. And flipping the switch is what we talked about last week. I really like. Flip the switch to become a fat burner. And you'll start to see what I'm doing. My 30-day program, I'll give you a little tips here and there on what I do with individuals to really work on improving digestion, gut health, your mobility throughout the day, movement, and happiness. We'll do gratitude journal and work on the whole you, because changing your lifestyle is a really important part of helping your body being fat adapted and speeding up that fat loss. So I think, as I said, a lot of people are just changing what they're eating, but they have too much busyness and stress during the day that's nonstop. So I showed a picture of a faucet, a leaky faucet. So that's kind of what we're doing all day when we're stuck in that sympathetic dominance and have that constant drip of cortisol or stress hormone, and activating that HPA axis because we're in that fight or flight all day. And that in exchange also impacts our mitochondria. So the cells that are supposed to be producing energy, ATP, they're being shifted into what's called cell defense mode, because if we're chronically stressed, external stress as well as internal stress, and we'll get into more of those hidden stressors later on, but that chronic stress will impact the whole you with your energy levels because of the mitochondria dysfunction we are creating. So there's so much to think about. Exercise is important, but how much exercise and our nutrition is important. Obviously, changing that carbohydrate to protein and fats so you balance your blood sugar and start to see the ketones on your Keto Mojo stick, and it's going to be different for everybody. So that's what I'm doing in the 5-day jumpstart, just kind of a little tidbit on each of those. And then the 30-day, we just kind of keep going and dive a little deeper, add intermittent fasting. We'll start doing some 24-hour fasts if that's good for people, 1 day a week, and just kind of transition from that sugar burner to a fat burner. Flip that switch. Should call it Flip the Switch program. So that's me. That's what I'm working on. And I will finish saying that after this week, I've really got clarity on my mission, on my passion, and my purpose, that you'll start to see things a little differently on social media. I did add the Low Carb Athlete page on Facebook. I did change my Instagram to the Low Carb Athlete, and I'll start making that switch. And as my fitness studio closes in September, so October 1st, I will be focusing my business to more that low carb athlete coaching online and working on speaking more at conferences around the world and the country, at least to get started, and working on creating an impact in our society. That chronic stress impacts the whole you. So if you're trying to burn fat, you're trying to improve your longevity, you're trying to work on your performance in your racing, training events, you need to work on the whole you. So we'll start with nutrition and then work our way through the other elements, one thing at a time. So that's what's going on with me. And I would really appreciate you letting me know your questions, your feedback, your comments, so I know I'm making a difference and making sure I'm talking the right topics for you. I've learned that sharing my own personal story will help other people because they can relate to that. And if you read my book, Life is Not a Race, I put it all out there, starting with worrying about my body image and dieting back in high school to always, working on different ways to improve my confidence and self-esteem through exercise. And then when I got into triathlons and running marathons, I started to kind of find my place and what made me happy. And so I shared how I identified my sources of external chronic stress over the years. And then now I'm working on identifying those internal stressors as I become an FDN practitioner, where I will be able to order labs, 5 different labs that we use as an FDN practitioner to help identify your internal sources of stress. So hidden stresses are your hormones, so H. I is for immune, D, digestion, D is also for detoxification, and then E is energy systems, and N is nervous system. So hidden stressors, the internal. And then we'll identify those external ones, which I just wrote a great blog this past week on the cruise about external stressors and identifying those energy robbers and all that. So head to my website, debbiepotts.net, catch those free ebooks, and I'm writing 2 more on how you can become a low-carb, fat-adapted athlete and help flip that switch. So sign up online if you want to do my next 5-day Jumpstart Fat Loss program or jump in for the 30-day program. All right, let me know what I can do to help you become a fat-burning machine, and we will go on this journey together. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to the Whole Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at wholeathletepodcast.com. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.